And hello, 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 hello. Woo. What's going on, people? How are you out there? For those of you who are looking at this on whatever social media platform this is on, I'm trying to sit down here. My eyes are bothering me just a little bit. But I'm coming to you this morning because I wanted to sit down and chat with you for just a few little seconds. And y'all know I'm at the donut factory and things, so I got to be mindful of what's going on around me. So I got to keep my eye on the monitors and things. I'm expecting my coworker to come up here to handle a little business, so be that as it may. But in any event, I'm here, right here, and right now. So, darlings, for those of you who don't know who I am, this is Demetrius Big Meach Taylor, and you are dishing tea, my darlings, with Big Meach right now. So, I want to get all off into this. And before we do, wait a minute, I got this light over here, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm cute. But before we get all off into this, let me say it right now. Come on in and subscribe to everything that is Big Meach. That's Bigneach. And that'll get you to where I am. So if you have any questions about it, just go to my website, www.dishingtea.com. That's www.dishingtea.com. Okay? And all of my social media platforms that I'm on, honey, will be there. You can go and like and subscribe and find out a little bit more about me and my endeavors and things that are coming up. Let me make this announcement right here. If you're going to be watching this within the next few days or whatever, today happens to be Wednesday. Well, now we're going into Thursday now. This is September 14th. No, I'm sorry. No, we're going into Friday now. 14th of September, 2018 is when I'm doing this. The time now is what? 3:17 in the morning. That this is being recorded and I'm live, and then it's going to be recorded so I can upload it to other places and break down and all of that. So from 2:15 until 5:45, I'm going to be hosting auditions for so we can shop the movie. And with the trailer, we have a number of roles that have to be cast. These roles that we're doing are minor roles. We have male and female roles. All of them are 30 plus for the characters. And if you don't get cast as with a speaking role, then we do have space for you to be an extra so that we can make this happen. We're doing a 15-minute trailer reel, sizzle reel, if you will. And we want to get that started. So again, Saturday, September 15th, 2018, between 2:15 and 5:45. The place is the College Park Auditorium. That's at 3633 Main Street. This is in College Park, Georgia. It is 1.5 blocks north of, is that right? No, yeah, 1.5 blocks north of the College Park rail station. So if you're on the trains, then get off at the College Park station, come up, go out on the side as to the library, and go to the right and come down the street. We're directly next door to the College Park City Hall and the library. So again, I'm making my film directorial debut with Urban Camping. Now, the nature of this movie is, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but did you guys know that homelessness is illegal in many of the states across the country? Yes. And that's the name of it. It's called Urban Camping. And what they do is they penalize the homeless people for being homeless. And if you were to sit down and give food or money and stuff to the homeless people, police here will ticket you. Now, we notice that this is something that is practiced down here in Atlanta. And it's one of those rules. It's on the books, I think, but it's not enforced by everyone. However, it is there. And we're going to be talking about that. That's what the film is going to be about. So, again, we're auditioning minor roles. And it's for non-union actors, and because this is an indie film, well, not because it's an indie film, we just happen to be an indie film, and it's no money, honey. We're raising funds, so this is a volunteer gig. So if you guys want to come out, please come on out. And of course, my phone is ringing. Y'all hold on for just a second. This is security. Hey, no, no. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know nothing about that, child. Oh, okay. Of course. Well, you know what? Okay, we'll just have to deal with that in a way. Well, I can't because, yeah, okay. Okay. Right. All right. Mm. Oh my God. Okay. That's my coworker telling us that we got some bad press over here at the hotel where I work for. Someone was caught smoking in the room or accused of smoking, and now he done went on the social media, want to claim racism because he was asked to leave the hotel. And that's going to be one of the things that I talk about today. But let me finish up. Um, Urban camping, yeah, homeless folks are being arrested, and folks are being ticketed and can be arrested if you decide to feed the homeless or give them money or whatever the case may be. And so that's what we're going to do. That's what the movie is about. Um, Dealing with that. And in the movie, we're going to explore how homeless people are being used for experiments because uh, they're expendable to a lot of different organizations or in the minds of people. So that's what the movie is about. So again, Saturday, September 15th, 2018, 2:15 to 5:45 at the College Park Auditorium, 3633 Main Street, College Park. That's right 1.5 blocks north of the College Park train station. So if you guys are on MARTA, get off at College Park, come outside on the library side, make a right, go down 1.5 blocks. We're directly right next door to the College Park City Hall and the library. And come in use the door off of the parking lot in the back, and we will take care of you, honey. Come on in here, give us your best audition, and we'll see. If you don't land a speaking role, we will use you as an extra if you want to be in the film. And we're also going to need some crew people as well, makeup artists and things of that nature. So get with me. If you're listening to this, no, I can give my phone number. Call me directly 404-914-5610. 404-914-5610. Yes. Did I just do that? Yes, I did, but that's my number. Okay? So now let's get into this, what I want to talk about, because this phone call that I just got from my coworker explains it. Um, and also, is this what I think it is? It is. I knew it. I knew once I was gonna get started, this child was gonna sit up here and come up in here. God damn it. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going because he's coming in to take care of his business. But nonetheless, we are looking for we are looking to get to really, 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 really ask this question. I was listening to Tariq Nasheed earlier today, and he posed a question about are we really fighting for equality? Is equality what we really want? And in that particular uh, thing, it had just struck me um, really that way. And I'm not understanding what the hell is going on with his particular argument because, I mean, I understand it, but it just struck me funny. But what I'm trying to understand is we as a people, how is it that we misconstrue certain things about this particular argument? Now, one of the things that I want to say is this, and you know, Tariq is one of the conscious children that carried on, and it throws me all the time when I see folks who uh, want to talk the conscious talk and want to talk black folk power and this and the other, and want to empower the people. But for those who are a part of the community that either you disagree with their tactics or whatever, that they are called coons and bed wenches and this and the other, and that throws me because uh, is it because well, it's a number of different reasons, but it just throws me because I don't see that as empowering us as a people. That we're constantly going to be called a name that shames us and carrying on, and it's the idea to shame you or to shame the person into wanting to get on the right foot, to join the struggle, to whatever. It just throws me, and though I kind of understand it because I know in certain instances there are a couple of people who may fit that category in my opinion, but I don't like using those particular words because I don't think that uh, I don't think that it speaks to what it is that we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I just think it adds a greater divide. And so as he was talking, uh, it just threw me. So I posed today's question: uh, equity, equality, liberation, or dominance. Okay, or domination rather. And so as we get all off into this, that's what I'm posing for you to sit down and to consider, because we as a people, I mean, we are there's so many different layers to this, and I really believe that we ought to sit down and take well, not necessarily take our time, but we have to strategize properly in order to figure out where exactly do we fit in. You see what I'm saying? And let me say hello to folks. I see folks that came in. Melba Moore, hey my darling, I love you. What's going on in your world? I know you got new music. We need to talk soon. And Anthony Lamar, hey, good morning to you as well, my darling. What's happening? What's happening? Let's go into this because, see, I'm going to take the last statement because one of the things that Tariq was saying in his particular piece was that we need to strive for dominance. We need to strive to come in and stop asking for permission to do something. Just come in and take it over. And I think for me, I think dominance may be a little too strong of a word. Although the word I would probably use is command. Okay, not demand, but command. See, one of the things that we as a people, I think that we have lost is our ability to know how we stand and know how to present ourselves in the best light possible. And I say it that way because, see, if you pay attention to what's going on, we know how to command that negative shit. We know how to command our presence when we trying to get what we call getting ghetto, or how some folks say, you want me to act black. Oh, that bothers me. You know, my sister used to say that, you don't make me act black. And I'm like, well, okay, what the hell is that supposed to mean? What does acting black mean? And I know what she was trying to say, but I was just trying to get her to, elevate her consciousness. Don't sit down there and let somebody else's narrative become your definition. You know what I'm saying? So in his idea of being dominant, I'm saying command your presence, command your equity, command your equality, command your liberation. Because they're not. It's not going to be given to you, and that there after all these years, child. Listen, don't we say that in any other areas of our lives? Okay, if we look at the spectrum, what do we say? It's not going to come to you. You got to go out there and get it, right? They tell you got to go out there and take chances. You got to go out there and take risks. Life happens, and it's not going to be given to you. You got to go out there and make your own way, right? Isn't that what we teach our children? And that's what we've been taught when we want to go out there and make something happen for ourselves. How do we make a life for ourselves? So here that we're dealing with, a social system, okay, that there has marginalized us for such a long time. It has divided us, and it has been systematically been a driving force to keep us, with that crabs in the barrel mentality. We now have to sit down there and learn how to forge our way and to command our presence. You know what I'm saying? Um, and in that, it's like it's the same lessons that we tell each other in other different areas. When you walk into a room, you know, I don't have to sit down there and you know cower to folks because they don't know me or whatever, or feel as though I'm and I okay, this thing here, I can own it because I don't have to go up in here and act it as if I have to act for your permission, honey. I'm just gonna walk up in there and I'm going to make my presence known. I'm going to sit down. Hey, you see me, you can't deny me. And that there is something that we as a people, we have lost that about ourselves. That there has always been one of our of the jewels in our crown to where we're able to make that stance. But like I say, I don't think I think we need to polish it. Let me put it that way, because I don't think we've lost it necessarily. I think what has happened is we've let that crown or that jewel get a little dusty. It's been sitting around for a little, or you just haven't taken your crown, honey, and given it a little shine so folks can see it shine and sparkle and glitter and carrying on. Because we know how to do it when it's negative behavior. Look at reality TV. Look at what we are accepting as our narrative now. Look at what we are accepting as a norm. We accept the fact that going to prison is a norm for our children. We accept the fact that we have black women who sit down there on these reality shows and think it is okay to jump over tables and things and beat each other down, and they forever call each other bitches and hoes and things. We are forever in that particular thing. So we know how to do it. But I think what has happened is we've decided to allow ourselves to be limited in our scope of it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I also believe that we have allowed certain things to become a distraction to us. I believe that, see, when we talk about black, issues and carrying on, number one, I think that we sit down there and we say stuff in a way that we're trying to make our white counterparts, you know, fearful. I think that, we're trying to have this rally call or whatever, or this battle cry. And I believe it's all pomp and circumstances because we don't put any action behind it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me. As I've said before, the conscious children, that community, it takes me there because oftentimes we want to sit down there and say that we want to be woke, but honey, when you're woke, what do we do with the information now? You know what I'm saying? I look at that when I wake up. When I wake up in the morning or whenever I wake up and realize that I'm woke, what do? You climb out of bed. You got to go pee. You got to sit down there and take a shower. You got to brush your teeth. You got to have breakfast. Get dressed. You got to leave out that door because what? It's time to go. Okay, there we go. I see folks that came up in here. Hey there, Peter. Hey, Denard. Hey, Denard. What's going on, baby? Me and you need to talk. I ain't seen you in a minute. And Dawn, hey, cuz. What's going on, baby? um, we have allowed ourselves or afforded ourselves to be complacent in allowing for other narratives to take hold of us. You know what I'm saying? And I really believe that um, we have to now learn how to redefine what it is that we want. I take issue with the equality message. Okay, and I think oftentimes that whenever the conscious children get to talking about equality and things, that they want to still use the whole idea that white folks this and white folks that, and we'll never be equal. We'll never be equal. And I beg to differ, and I beg to differ because I think one of the things that we are not paying attention to is that our equality comes in our economic power. Okay, our economic and political power. That's where we can have a level playing field. And the reason why I say that is because that there is what speaks in this particular world that we're in, particularly in this country. Everything that moves and grooves and ballers and shot callers and stuff in this country, they all have a political and economic power base. They have a center, a nucleus, to where it feeds and to where it empowers everything about the movement, about the growth and elevation and carrying on of its community and its members. And I think that is where we will gain our equity and our equality. Okay, because once we're able to be on the playing field, see, we tell it to folks all the time, and I break it down to simple terms yet again. Look at this. When we have a potluck dinner or carrying on, the person who didn't bring anything, honey, don't get to take no damn Tupperware home, now do they? Or haven't you noticed that every time the person who bring the least is always the person who always run to the kitchen table or run to go get some aluminum foil to take something home first? Huh? And what do? We stop them. We be like, hold up, baby, hold up. You know what I'm saying? And why is that? Because they had no stake in it. You see? And so I think that's the same way that we have to look at our equity and our equality here in this country. If you don't have any economic or political power, child, okay, you can bark all you want to, but it's not going to get you anywhere because you don't have a dog in the fight. You know what I'm saying? And then let's make it a little bit more practical. Because I thought about this in the shower earlier today, and that there is, y'all watch a lot of gangster movies and carrying on, right? Remember the movie The Godfather, and anything that had to deal with territories, right? And anytime the little dope dealers or the drug lords come together, what happens? They may not like each other, but they know they respect each other. Why? Because everybody's on the same playing field. If I'm on the north, you're on the south, this was on the east, this was on the west, and then this one is southwest, that's southeast, and all that. We come together and we can move and shake. You know what I'm saying? They make some shit happen. Whether or not we like each other is a whole different thing. But as long as you don't fuck with my money, everything is going to roll. And then I get a stake at the table. I get to tell you yay or nay if I'm going to participate in this, that, and the other. And it becomes a community. That's called organized crime. Okay? And I've always said this, and I stand behind this because it's a necessary evil in this. And it's a necessary evil because, listen, look at the world that we live in, honey. Everybody who's on the up and up and trying to be, what? I was about to say holier than thou, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Everybody who's trying to make it and want to stay on the up and up. That's it. You want to maintain some sense of decorum about yourselves. You're not trying to get into the underworld and all of that. Those are usually the ones who happen to be the hardest working folks. Haven't you noticed that? Look around you in your neighborhoods. Most of us who are the hard working folks, you go to work every day, you making the minimum wage or the 10, the 11, $12 hours. Okay, you're struggling. But isn't it awfully funny that the children who are on the hustle, on the grind and carrying on, it look like it's fast money, but they look like they always have the abundance. You know what I'm saying? And it looks as if, it's always easier for them and carrying on. And I know the church folks will tell you, well, that's just the world being the world, and what you put your allegiance to here on earth is going to be bound up in heaven, and that kind of thing. And so we get caught up in all of that, but we organize crime on this side of creation, child. It's a necessary evil. And I call it, and the reason why it's organized is because if you're not in the business, child, you don't get into it. And because it's organized, they know how to keep everybody out of their business because they keep the money rolling. Excuse me. They sit down there and they keep everything rolling. They keep everything moving. They keep they feed their homeless. They take care of the senior citizens. They make sure the children are going to school. They do all what is necessary to make sure that the community is thriving, so no one will shed a light on their business. You know what I'm saying? So in saying all of that, uh, I see us as if we have our economic empowerment, if we have our political power, if we were able to sit down there to come together as a unified front. And I know that sounds cliche, as to come together. But we have to be able to become a unified front so that the power can be stronger. You see what I'm saying? So that it edifies itself, so that we're not looking for externals to fortify us. You know what I'm saying? And then once we start to do that, then we're able to be on the same platform and the same plateau as a lot of these other children, honey. Let's look at this. And y'all have heard me say this before about uh, wanting to rebuild Black Wall Street. You know, it is fascinating me that I'm coming into areas where I'm finding black folks who are in areas of business that I didn't think, that blacks had an interest in. Watching Sister Circle Live, we had the black female who was the sommelier, and she has her own winery and carrying on. And to know that of the 16, almost 17,000 wineries and things, that there's only like, what did she say? It wasn't even 600, more like 16 or 17. It was a very, very low number that are black owned. And then of that 1%, she was the 1% of the 1% because she was a black female who owns it. You know what I'm saying? So we have other businesses here in Atlanta, and I think I've said this before. We have black beer breweries. They sit up there brewing their own beer. You know, we have other different areas that we did not know that black businesses even existed. You know what I'm saying? And so, because of that, we have those particular tools. Now, could you imagine if we were to do a Black Yellow Pages across the country that we can spotlight and highlight these kinds of businesses, so that if you are a restaurant owner and you have a bar, that your restaurant as a black business owner will support another black business owner to come in to supply the wine for your establishment, and that way we still got black owned money circulating and carrying on. We could sit down there and do that if we were to become a unified front. And I want to make sure that I still have to do my part, because I've done a lot of talking and things. I have not engaged myself. There's an online bank, I think it's called One Bank. It's a black owned online bank. And, they've been pushing, trying to get folks to, open up an account and carry it on. But again, think of what that means. If we have a black owned bank who can sit down there and give business loans to black owned businesses, decent loans at a decent percentages and carrying on, to where it's not killing us and things, to where we're able to support it. The money is going back into the bank. The bank can then make its investments and stuff that it did, the equity and stuff in the bank, the dividends and all the interest and stuff that it can collect. It can then fortify us as a people. And that is our way to liberation. That is our way of having our command and our dominance in the world, because we're able to be a front. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back to something that Tariq was saying that and it kind of bothered me a little bit, and it bothered me because I was trying to understand his reasoning, and I'm hoping someone shares this with him. because this is not calling. Well, it is calling him out, but I want to have a discussion and not necessarily get into no tit for tat kind of shit, because I think we do ourselves a disservice. But what I would like to know, he was saying something about was it a television show or something? The white woman had the African man or whatever, and he had the Donald Trump shirt or hat on or whatever, and he was, oh, I love Donald Trump and whatever the case may be. Basically, he basically called him a coon because he said, okay, we know you trying to get your bag or whatever, but you don't let the white woman come over here and just made you basically, her sex slave or whatever, because all you are to her is just sex and a photo op, okay? And when he said that, and how he had succumbed to the white supremacists or the white supreme regime and all that, um, what got me was, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Yes, I understand that folks travel and those who evoke the thought of being supreme over someone else. I know that that follows them or care another if that's their countenance. At the same time, uh, in understanding Africa and other countries and stuff where Caucasians and the ivory children have come in to infiltrate. How is it that that is cooning out when most of the time those folks, they're very, very poor and they're looking for a way out. And I think that the line becomes, for me, who, when is it cooning and when is it success? You know what I'm saying? Because we teach each other that we got to do what you got to do to get over, and this, that, and the other. But when it comes down to utilizing a resource that is, that's coming from Caucasians or whatever, we quick to say somebody done sold out. We quick to call them coons. We quick to call them this, that, and the other. And yet at the same time, is that a fair? Is that a fair judgment, or is it a convenient one because they've been able to get over, or in the words of those who don't believe it, you done did what you had to do to take the white man's money and this, that, and the other, and you done sold yourself out, but you done forgot about your people. And in some cases, we can see where that argument is valid and legal and all of that kind of thing, because we do have a number of people who seem as though, once they've achieved, they do not want to, come and lend a hand to pull somebody else up. They want to get away from it under the guise of, well, you can't take everybody with you and this, that, and the other. And not that they don't have a point. It's just that, how they end up working it, it becomes a whole different mechanism. But why is it that anytime we utilize a resource that is not black, or that is coming from the Anglo-Saxon or the Ivory or the Caucasian children, it is always seem as though it is a sell-out move. It is a coonery move. You know what I'm saying? I want to get clarification on that, because I know I can break it down to how I live my life. But for those of you who are in the conscious community or whatever, let's talk about that. Because oftentimes it seems as though the conscious community get upset with folks who say, okay, we got some good white people out there. And well, that's what they want you to say. They want you to sit down there and to go run into them and see them. That's just a smoke screen. That's just you buck dancing. That's just you cooning. That's just you. And so when does it become, okay, I made a successful business deal. You know what I'm saying? And it was a win-win situation. I'm able to take this money and do what I need to do over here. When does it become that versus it's always got to be about, oh, well, as long as you're not making as much as they do, could you imagine what this is if you had went to somebody and took all and made all the money and not gave them a cut of that? When does it become, okay, this is a stepping stone so that I can build the empire? When does it become that? Because now I know they get tired of hearing this particular argument, but Why was it? What's the difference between now and then when we had Caucasians who helped with the Underground Railroad and who helped make sure that um, civil rights and voting rights and carrying on in this country was the right thing to do? What happened to all of those people? And was it just a come up for them? Was it just to soothe their conscience? Because I hear that argument all the time. Oh, white folks just did that because, that's just them trying to clear their consciousness, or that's just them pimping you so that they can get the federal coin, and they get the coin and then they boot you out and this, that, and the other. So what is it? When does it become that we take everybody individually and base them on their individual merits versus lumping them up into the whole thing of, oh, they're white supremacists and this, that, and the other, and you buck dancing because you decided to allow them to come in, and everybody trying to make sure they get a good white person to be their friend, and sooner or later, you realize you can't be friends with them. And if we keep that mentality, is that a disservice to us, or how does that fortify us? Okay, how does that fortify us to move forward? Are we saying that we need to keep? Is it the Black Panther theory? Okay, because even with them, remember, honey, the white folks that came to them. He said, no, you can't join our group because we have to sit down there and learn how to do this for ourselves. But you galvanize and create your thing, because when we get to going, we're going to need you for your numbers. We're going to need you to fortify us. You see what I'm saying? We're going to need you to be extra fuel for us. Okay? So where does that translation break down for me? Because it seems like every time that we try to do that, it's always criticized as buck dancing and cooning. Or is it buck dancing and cooning because we have not galvanized ourselves, but we're looking for the external to come in and save the day? See, I don't believe in the Great White Hope theory. I've never believed in that. Because I've never believed that somebody from the outside, or somebody who really they like the culture, they like the black experience, and this, that, and the other. But I've never been one to believe that the Great White Hope syndrome is something that black folks needed. Because oftentimes what that comes to is somebody want to give you a hand out versus giving you a hand up. You see what I'm saying? As long as they can control the handout, or as long as you are expecting them to give you and to hand you something, then you never will do the work. And if that's the angle that we're going on when we're talking about the buck dancing and carried on, if that is the angle, I can understand that. But why is it buck dancing? Is it because we sitting up there trying to keep them? Remember when you was when we were kids or whatever, you knew the latest dance moves or whatever, and every time grandma or your uncle come over, show me do your little dance for me, baby, do your little dance, and you get the little, and everybody applaud and carrying on. Is it for the show of it, or is it for the come up? And if it's for the come up, then why is it that it gets criticized because we decided to utilize a resource? Let's talk about that. Let's analyze that so that we can get to the root of it. Because oftentimes, and here's where this is for me too. Oftentimes, a lot of the people who are the conscious children, I hear us, but most of it's just like being at church. And as I was listening to Tariq today. Wait a minute, that's my alarm going off. As I was listening to Tariq, he got into this rhythm like a Baptist preacher or something, And as he kept saying white supremacies, oh, the white supremacist regime, oh, the white supremacists, oh, the white supremacists. All I heard was the Baptist preacher saying, and the devil this, and, old Slewfoot, the devil is a lie. And that's all I kept hearing as he was talking, And then as he was trying to press his point, that was his text today. We need dominance. You need to be dominant. You need to make sure you are dominant. And it starts to become, the mantra. And then, now you're waiting for the folks to shout. And then you got your backup. See, when you got the organ going, and then you get the shout music, and then next thing you know, everybody popping up like popcorn. And they want to backflip, and they want to go dance and carry on, and then they want to rally, and, ooh, you right, you right, you right. And then like a Baptist preacher, and this ain't no slam at you, Tariq, I'm just making a point, I'm just observing this. Like a Baptist preacher, after he done got you riled up, he was talking about Hidden Colors 5, the last installment. Then he says, hit the button. Let's make this donation. Go to my Kickstarter. Go to my fund. I think you got to GoFundMe. Go to the GoFundMe. Ain't that the Baptist preacher passing out the offering and carrying on? Now it's time to do the business. And I appreciate you if you donate and carrying on and blah, 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 blah. And then for those who can't, it becomes that. And then, like the Baptist preacher and carrying on, if the folks decide not to, and you got to find other means of making the money, then it becomes the black folks' fault. Well, we don't know how to support each other. We don't know how to sit down. Y'all know how to go buy a drink at the club, but you need to come and pay. Will a man rob God? And it had that same kind of rhythm to me. You see, so in that, what I have that to say, shit, here we go. Oftentimes, when the conscious children get together, it's like preaching to the choir. When I met Brother Umar Johnson, I met him at, a conference and carrying on. And everybody, they're coming from the Shrine of the Black Madonna or some place like that, because everybody got all these African names and, and carrying on and they power to the people. I got that. But then it was like, okay, now where do we go from here? We got a good word, we got a good lecture, but then how do we then move forward? How do we then take the information and have it make an impact so that we can see the strides of the people? We used to have the black slate for the election and carrying on. We used to have the candidates and I'm from Detroit, so we used to have what was called the black slate. All the children who had got together and they would put a list of all the candidates that were vetted out that were specifically going down to be, for the black issues, and those who were looking out for black causes and all that. And we used to have, now we don't even have that political savvy to say, okay, these are the candidates anymore. We don't even have the political savvy to sit down there and to say, when was the last time you went to the farmer's market and went to a black farmer to get your fruits and vegetables and carried on like we used to do back in the day? When was the last time that, in Detroit we have the Eastern Market? Okay, there's a number of black farmers and stuff down there who sit down and sell their wares and goods and carrying on, and their product and things. When was the last time that we went down there? Outside of it being a tourist attraction, because now when I went home last month, it's now a tourist attraction. Folks are coming down there just to see what it looked like. But are we and have we been able to take advantage of understanding and realizing that used to be black bottom, So now we don't have a lot of the black businesses now because everybody that came up in there. It's chic now. And carrying on. Like I say, it's becoming a tourist attraction. So that means that, everybody else done brought their coin in there and they live wares and goods and open up stores and stuff down there so they can get a part of their coin. So how do we galvanize? How do we take the information and make it impactful so that we can benefit from it without it being some damn basic bullshit. And what I mean by that is, we all have to start somewhere when we're trying to build a business and carry it on. But oftentimes we do it in ways to where we have product that nobody wants, or everybody trying to do the same thing at the same time. So nobody can make any money, because if I got the product, if I got oranges and you got oranges and we come into the same spot, it becomes whose oranges are sweeter and carrying on. I'm going to get my oranges from Sister's Maid today, and carrying on, versus I'm gonna get Sister May's oranges. I'm gonna get my apples from you, Brother Martin. I'm gonna get the peaches over here. You know what I'm saying? And spread the money, that way. Or okay, just say, okay, today I'm shopping with Sister May today. Okay, hey, how y'all doing? May, I need some of your this, that, and the other. I know you got your collard greens and this, that, and the other. Okay, y'all, I see that, that kind of thing. Then tomorrow, if I need something, I come down here to go to Brother Martin. Well, Martin, listen, let me come get some bread and milk and, my staples. And, and do it that way. How do we take the information, children? That is you want to talk about, we can never be equal. Okay, we need to stop marching for equality. We need to stop uh, looking for an external to say that we're equal. And I say we need to learn how to define that, because our equality, our equity, our liberation, and our dominance is going to be seen, and we're going to feel the effects when we learn and understand our economic power and our political power, because they go hand in hand. All of the other groups that carrying on that we've been talking about, all the other groups that black folks have got mad at, and all the other groups that black folks criticize, you criticize the Hispanics, you criticize the Jews, you criticize the LGBT community because everybody doing something for them. Ain't nobody looking out for black folks and this, that, and the other. And being black and LGBT, child, I'm trying to tell you, honey, it ain't what you think it is. It's what it appears to be, because our ivory Caucasian counterparts are the ones that got most of the mouth and all of the juice. We don't even know how to get together within the groups that. What about the black Jews? Or what about the Latinos? The black and Latino mix, biracial children. See, there's still a components up in there that we as black folks still don't want to acknowledge, because you want to feel as though because it ain't black, and there's a problem with it. So, what are we supposed to do about that, y'all? That there becomes my question. How is it that we can move beyond calling each other coons and bedwitches and telling and screaming that folks are buck dancing, when we don't see the plan, or when the people who are calling forth the call, who are given the call to action, if there's no action plan? How do we move forward? How is it that we can make this happen and stop letting it be a pipe dream? I know I got to do my part. I'm not sitting up here saying I have the answers or whatever. I'm throwing it out there because, hell, I need a kick in the ass too, so that I can get up off of me, and make the move, because the question, what am I scared of? I would ask that question to myself. When I'm standing in the mirror, like, bitch, what you scared of? It's going to be a risk. You got to step out there. It's like with anything else. When you learn how to walk, shit, you fell down a couple of times before you got it, right? And now that you know how to walk, what happens? Hell, how many times have you sat down there knowing that you're walking right, but you done tripped because your foot got stuck, or you didn't pick your foot up high enough, and your toe done rubbed the carpet or whatever, and you stumble a little bit. See, even when you're walking, there's a possibility for you to stumble and fall. But what you get up, okay? And sometimes, sometimes you fall too hard. You may have broke a toe, skinned your knee or whatever. So you got to bandage yourself up, heal yourself and start over again. And that there happens. So how is it that we can move forward, with all of that? Something else that he said, and it just came to me because he was on the Serena Williams, and the whole idea that her tennis thing, she wanted to make this a gender issue and carrying on, and not recognize that this was a black thing, and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to say that I believe that the gender card was probably the easier card because of what they had to deal with, and it's true. What they were saying, what she was saying was absolutely true. And then for some of the other women tennis players to come out, Martina Navratilova and Billie Jean King and Chris Everett and women. Somebody else had weighed in on that, but it was true. This is a woman's issue, but the contention was that she used that issue thinking that the white counterparts were going to come to her aid, and Martina kind of slammed her a little bit. She was like, listen, okay, yeah, it's a woman's issue, whatever, but basically suck it up, bitch, and do your job because you know you can't have a personal vendetta out here. And okay, so that was a slap in the face, so I felt. But let's talk about it. Um, was that fair? A fair assumption? Was that uh, uh, are we looking for to play the white card again and this, that, and the other? Why is it that we're always, hey, baby, what you know no good?
You.
Aha, okay.
That thing happening.
Oh, I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that all day.
I don't give a damn what nobody says.
Okay, me either.
And I'll be back to get my stuff.
Okay. So, why is it that it just couldn't be a woman's thing? Okay, why is it that all of us must look at it as race? Do you know what I'm saying? And hear me. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, because I think it is a race issue. Myself, because of her prowess, because of what she's done on the court, and it's awfully funny that ever since she was pregnant and things and has had this child, now all of a sudden we're having a number of issues here with her as an athlete. And the cartoon, we talked about the cartoon the other day, honey. I thought that cartoon was absolutely a racist cartoon. I don't give a fuck what the artist say, because he could try to justify his actions. You knew what you drew, and you knew that was out of pocket. And I knew it was supposed to be satire. That should have been a caricature. But, that caricature was something that was indicative of days of old, how they used to portray blacks who threw tantrums. And, if you look, she had big lips, big pouty lips, and all of that kind of. The tutu that she had on was reminiscent of that she had gained weight, like she was some big fat mammy, or whatever, that was throwing a tantrum and things. And then the pacifier. Now, the pacifier could have been she was acting like a baby, or it could have been that she brought her baby up. It's talking about she was a mother, so they put the pacifier down there. Me personally, I think they were trying to put the same child. We have all of that to contend with, and so it's not like I'm saying that we should negate the racial issue. But why is it that we were expecting her to make that the first issue, when her first issue was, I'm a woman and I'm on this court, and being on this court, you wouldn't have done that to John McEnroe and all them other kids. But why are you targeting me? Because I'm a woman? And that was the first instinct as far as I'm concerned. So if you disagree, show me the argument. Show me where I can look at this from a different perspective, other than to say, what everybody, what the power to the people children are saying. This is the white supremacist was just trying to get up. Listen, show me or give me an argument that's going to fortify how she should have made race the issue first, and not her as a woman player. Because right now she came from this place of a woman being on the court. I mean, hell, they what was it the other day? Was it her or some woman who got fined or was charged because she turned her shirt inside out? Or turned it around because she had the shirt on the wrong way. She got a penalty or whatever on the tennis court. So we need to look at that and understand that, because there is a gender disparity there. The rules are becoming a little bit different, and carrying on with the ladies. So I want to go there, and then I read in the comments, folks were saying, well, she could go back to her white daddy, or Zaddy with the Z, honey. I think that's the stupidest thing. Hey, Zaddy, that's dumb. you know, they're chastising her. Did she marry the guy? I forgot if she married him or not. But the father of the baby, Serena's father of the baby, that he has not come forth to stand up with her, to protect her, to, you know, challenge anybody who's come against her, whatever, that he has said nothing. And so now they're challenging him and be like, well, your white boyfriend and your white man, honey, ain't gonna do nothing for you, and you shouldn't have went with him anyway. You should have got you a, but you know. So they're going there with all of that, and I'm having a problem with that because I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, because this is he supposed to jump on everybody who says something? Because hell, he'll never get no sleep. He'll never sit down there and have any peace. So is he gonna pick and choose his battles or what? And something perhaps he's not one who wanted to be in the limelight like that. So perhaps he, you know, he's soothing her when she get home and showing her how to decompress from all of the backlash and carrying on, maybe having her focus on her daughter. You know, so we have to look at those particular issues and realize that uh, there's another angle on this. But it seems as though if folks have a different angle, then it's always being said that they're coming out of a bag and you know they're just trying to suck up to the white supremacists, or they're trying to go back to their white zaddies and all this kind of bullshit. And I think it's unfair. I think that it's unfair because if they're fighting the fight, that they're fighting it differently than what you would do. And so, how do we change that conversation, or what is the conversation? Okay, if you still feel that way, then what are the solutions? We could talk about the problems all day, but what would you recommend to say that this is something that we need to do to move forward? What would you recommend to get the ball rolling so that we can have some action behind the words, or behind the from the ringing the alarm to wake folks up and carry on? What actions? What's the action plan? Okay, how do we implement it? You know, so those are some of the things I want to look at and to comment on. Um, but I will say this also before I leave you, and that there is the whole idea of dominance. You know, the dominance party or the dominant culture. You know, want to make sure that you know there's always a subservient culture and carried on up under them. And I want to say this, and I made this in the comments, that being dominant, honey, is not only a white supremacist tactic. Being dominant over someone and to rule by fear is something that most cultures acquiesce to against something that you claim that you do not like. Okay, we have blacks who would do this over Latinos. We would have straight men would do this over gay men. You know, that dominance and carrying on. We have the church folks who would do that over sinners and those who are not in the church, particularly prostitutes and drug addicts. You know, we would have the healthy people, or those who are doctors and carrying on, make sure they are dominant over those who are ill and those who are HIV positive and those kind of things. We have seen it. We some of us may have experienced it, but now what I'm saying is that particular uh, their whole dominance trait and that dominant tactic is not just a white supremacist tactic. That there goes across the board when anybody feels as though somebody should be subservient to them because they are less than in the eyes of them. Somebody should be, or ought to be, or could be. You know, and I have to show you that I'm bigger than you. I have to show you that I'm over you. You know, we do that quite often. And so that's not just a white supremacist tactic. That there is a people tactic when we're trying to upgrade ourselves, when we're trying to show that I'm better than and this, that, and the other. So now how do we do how this is why I want to use a synonym for dominance, and I want to go into the command. If I command my respect, if I command my authority, I ain't got to sit down there and blabber mouth and carry on. You know, How they always say, child, if you got to sit down there and do too much talking, you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to sit down there and tell you I got respect and you gonna respect me. Everything about me says when I walk, wherever I do whatever, you're going to. Okay, and if you don't, then you're going to be removed from my presence by voluntarily or by force. You know, and it may not be physical force, honey. It could be spiritual force or whatever. Something is going to move you out of my way. Okay, if my light is shining too brightly for you, honey, either put on a sun cap or some shades. Okay, because my light is going to be that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to command that everywhere I go, honey. I commands mine. Hmm. And even on a bad day, when I have to sit down there and regroup, because I'm not always on, at that 100% level. I may be the one, may not feel like being bothered with anybody, but I have to sit down there and command that. Don't fuck with me today. Hell, I'm on my period. Okay? That kind of thing. And yes, I do have one, honey. Every third week of the month, child. Yes, I go through all kinds of hormonal changes and shit. Um, so that is where we are with this. Hey, good morning. Um, and making this shit happen. So I'm going to ask you, sweeties, what is it that we need to do better? How is it that we can get the message out here without it becoming an issue? You know what I'm saying? How do we make this happen? That there is my charge to you, and I'm gonna leave you with, because I get tired of everybody doing all the talking and all of the what we ought to do, what we should do. I get tired of the conscious community wanting to sit down there and call everybody names, and yet we're not sufficiently seeking the answers. Not sufficiently, or not providing solutions, not providing outlets. You know to say, okay, let's do this and let's come together so we can get this together. Or even, how about this? Even if you don't want everybody to come together, what about those who claim to be the leaders? Who are all the leaders? I had to ask this from the LGBT community. Who are our leaders? Those who are forging the way to say, okay, this is what we need to do. And then who could stand in as my proxy. If I can't sit down there and make it happen, then I'm challenging you to stand in to get my voice, to let my voice be heard, and to get the message out there. So who are our leaders, particularly black LGBT children? Because shit, everybody's running amok. You want to be lit and carrying on, but hell, everybody running amok and don't know what the hell to do. You know? So, that's what I'm going to charge you with right now, honey. If you love me, tell a friend. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But do this. Share this. And let's get this conversation going so that we can make some shit happen. I'm ready to see some results. I want to see us building. I want to see us, forging our way to something. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry for that. That's nasty, but something got caught in my throat. But I want us to forge our way so that we can do better, so that we can have results versus just talking points. So, all right, that's my little thing for the day, honey. Share this with everybody. And like I said, if you love me, tell a friend. If you hate me, honey, tell an enemy. All right, player. But do know this: one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, everything that I'm doing will move forward. So you may finish all of your tea, darling, because the tea has, well, your crumpets rather, because the tea has been dished, and you've been dishing tea right here with Big Meach. Until next time, ciao.